Morning, people. How you doing? ¿Cómo están? ¿Cómo estuvieron esas vacas? Esas vacaciones.
Hola, buenos días. Yo estuve bien, todo bien, muchas gracias. ¿Y usted?
Buena. Bien. Pude dormir, pude salir, me vacuné, fui a la playa, hice cosas entretenidas, fíjate. Así que bien, pues súper. ¿Les gusta mi fondo, cabres? Traté de buscar unos fondos que fueran como más entretenidos para hacer este asunto de las clases online más que nadie se aburra. O que nos aburramos lo menos posible. Así que eso, como para capear, digamos, el tema de salud mental y todo eso. Prefiero así cosas como alegres. Eh, Así que eso, pues, chiques. Vamos al grano. Marcelo dice profe streamer. No sé si podría streamear porque me da miedo. Tengo cuenta de Twitch y todo el tema, pero nada. Me pongo a ver streams, pero no streamo.
O sea, lo decía
Eh,
porque aparece que está en vivo en YouTube. Por eso.
sí, pues. Ah, sí, pues, no, sí. Siempre grabamos las clases, hacemos un live, po. Sí, obviamente nadie la ve, pero la grabo, ¿cachai? Como a traer el link al tiro. Y después lo pego ahí a un campus. Pero tampoco me incomoda. No me incomoda así tener lives y cuestiones así. No, pero me da miedo decir tonteras, no va nada. Y después que me funen. Pero en fin. Bueno, la idea también era juntarnos como para... yo creo que la mayoría nos conocemos, pero quizá algunos o algunas no me conocen, ¿cachai? Y eso por un lado. Y otro es para que hablemos del ramo este semestre, ya en qué consiste, las evaluaciones, quizá alguna pregunta que tengan sobre el retorno, etcétera. ¿Ya? Em, Así que les voy a compartir pantalla. Les voy a compartir pantalla. Ya, pues veamos el programa primero. Vamos al grano, ¿no? Al grano dijo el pollo. Vamos a tener 3 evaluaciones, ¿ya? La primera evaluación consiste en un opinion essay about a novel. Entonces, con les profe estamos, con el profe Bruno y la profe Luz estamos viendo qué novela les vamos a, como, yo creo que igual les vamos a dar como un listado cortito como para que puedan elegir ustedes, ¿ya? No la tenemos clara todavía, pero o sea, tenemos el listado, pero es muy largo, entonces vamos como a seleccionar algunos libros nomás y después se los vamos a presentar como para que ustedes puedan elegir entre esos 3 o 4, ¿ya? Y este Opinion Essay tiene 1000 palabras, ¿ya? Ah, dice, ¿qué más? Ya, eso vale 40%. Y ese sería el primer assessment, ¿ya? Después tenemos el Literature Review, ¿ya? Y es de 2000 palabras, ¿ya? Esto es en grupo porque es al mismo tiempo es el hito evaluativo. No sé si les hablaron, chiques, del hito evaluativo, ¿ya? Que es como una instancia departamental en donde se miden las competencias adquiridas hasta ahora en todo lo que ha transcurrido en la carrera. Entonces es un trabajo interdisciplinario que, bueno, el año pasado lo hicimos con los cabres de segundo del año pasado. Y es, bueno, es harta pega. Es harta pega porque es como, son tasks que se van, digamos, uniendo y después forman una nota final que se pone en varios ramos. ¿Ya? Y literature review es como la parte procesual, como donde se busca la bibliografía, donde se analiza la bibliografía, de acuerdo a la temática que vayan a escoger, por supuesto. ¿Ya? Y como digo, se trabaja en conjunto con los ramos de investigación, los ramos, digamos, los ramos que hace el Mauro, varios profes, casi todos los profes de segundo están metidos, de hecho. Entonces, em, no sé si les han hablado de eso o si saben de lo que estoy hablando, ¿ya? Eh, si tienen preguntas, interrúmpanme nomás, ¿ya? Y esto va a ser más o menos, mm, déjame ver, noviembre. Eso va a ser como esos 2 meses vamos a ocupar para el hito evaluativo, ¿ya? Y después tienen que presentarlo, tienen que crear digamos, obviamente eh, en este caso, creo que es una clase invertida. El año pasado fue una clase invertida, ¿ya? Flip Classroom, que le llaman. Así que, y creo que lo hacen con la página de TED. O sea, sí se hizo el año pasado. No sé este año si van a cambiar el formato, ¿ya? Así que vayan haciéndole preguntas también a sus profes de segundo, los demás profes, para que les vayan informando. Igual vamos a tener una reunión, en todo caso, formal, así, de todo el departamento sobre el hito evaluativo específicamente, donde los vamos a informar con lujo de detalle. Yo les estoy spoileando nomás, ¿ya? Pero para que no coman ansias, ¿ya? Porque va a haber reunión de eso y les van a responder todas las preguntas más en detalle por ramo, ¿te fijas? Y la última nota es una coevaluación, o sea, básicamente vamos a crear un formato con los profes, con el Bruno y la Luz, y se van a evaluar a ustedes mismas y nosotros les vamos a hablar a ustedes, ¿ya? Con respecto a las competencias, digamos, que corresponden al ramo, ¿ya? Em, Así que, y obviamente ahí en la pauta van a haber temas relacionados justamente con competencias de writing, competencias de léxico, competencias gramaticales, ¿te fijas? Y ahí, digamos, vamos a consensuar la última nota, ¿ya? Entonces las ponderaciones son 40-40-20, ¿ya? Y eso por el lado de las evaluaciones. No sé si tienen alguna duda, pregunta, chiques. Dudas, consultas, reclamos,
¿El
chistes.
hito es en todo ramo?
En casi todos los ramos, incluso debería incluir los de formación pedagógica. Debería incluir eso, ¿ya? El año pasado por lo menos incluyó prácticamente todos los ramos. Si es que quedó uno afuera, puede ser, pero la verdad que era transversal. Era para todos los ramos. ¿Qué más? ¿Más dudas, más preguntas? O sea, si tienen electivos, por ejemplo, los electivos no van, po. Esos no, porque esos son como cuenta aparte. More questions. Bueno, ahí si tienen una pregunta me dicen nomás. Eh, con respecto a los núcleos de aprendizaje específicos que vamos a estudiar, son 3 unidades, ¿cierto? La primera unidad tiene que ver en general con Work and Education. Then the second unit, in this case, is about the media and technology. The third unit is about society and institutions. All right. Entonces, la idea también que teníamos con el profe era obviamente, tratar de conectar, digamos, todos los puntos en este sentido, eh, ir aplicando, digamos, las temáticas, ir aplicando, digamos, el léxico, la gramática y todo el tema a los productos que son tres, ¿ya? Más que todo dos, porque el último, como digo, es más que todo un overall, ¿ya? De todo. Entonces, Vamos a ver, vamos a estar repasando gramática, ¿cierto? Vamos a estar incluyendo algunas cosas, digamos que quizá no hemos visto antes, como had better, would rather, ¿cierto? Phrasal verbs, más en detalle, collective nouns, perdón, collective and uncountable nouns. Vamos a ver temas específicos sobre education, work and business. Unidad 2, vamos a ver, ¿cierto? Communication on the internet, social media. Tenemos question tags en la parte gramática, mixed conditionals, y después en la unidad 3 vamos a estar viendo politics in public institutions, global problems, crime, en la gramática, ¿cierto? Causative forms, relative clauses, etcétera, etcétera, right? El material que vamos a estar utilizando, yo, digamos, subí por lo menos la mayoría de las cosas importantes de la bibliografía. Yo estuve subiendo algunas cosillas. Por ejemplo, subí, chiquitito esto. Voy a estar subiendo más cosas sobre el Assessment 1 o el Opinion Essay. Por lo pronto subí esto, ya que es material que ustedes tienen que ver asincrónicamente o como parte de su trabajo autónomo. También, obviamente, tengo que subir la rúbrica y las guidelines una vez que estén listas y consensuadas con los demás profes. ¿Qué va a ser luego eso? Después tenemos Complementary Material, libros sobre writing, ya completo en PDF. Está el English Vocabulary in Use, en este caso como para el léxico. ¿Qué más tengo? Subir la norma APA, ¿cierto? Que hay que estudiarla. Yo creo que voy a hacer una o varias clases exclusivamente de aplicación de APA, porque esta cuestión les va a salvar la vida, ¿ya? Vamos a ver también, bueno, este libro es Developing Grammar in Context, ¿cierto? Que es parte del material obligatorio, y el English Grammar in Use. Aquí está como la información general del curso. El timetable también va a ser importante porque, bueno, aquí ustedes pueden ver el step by step, en este sentido, como del proceso, las fechas importantes y todo eso. Obviamente esto se va a ir modificando en la medida que vayan surgiendo cosas. Pero está por semana. Está por semana como que está bien clarito, ¿ya? Y digamos la luz, el profe Luz Pamela incluyó también los feriados y todo eso, ¿ya? What else? El tema del retorno. Bueno, vamos a estar haciendo clases virtuales, digamos, eh, todo el semestre, pero a la vez también vamos a estar haciendo actividades presenciales, pero guardando todas las medidas sanitarias en el campus y todo consensuado y todo voluntario. Ya, nosotros los profes, obviamente, los que queremos ir, ya, de entre eso esto me incluyo también, porque necesito salir, si no me voy a volver loco acá en la casa. Eh, Vamos a estar yendo en ciertos horarios específicos que nosotros les vamos a estar informando a ustedes, como oye, mira, tal día voy a ir de tal hora a tal hora. Entonces, los que quieran voluntariamente ir, vamos a tener tutorías, ya que van a ser como clases, entre comillas, pero básicamente basado en los programas, en la misma materia que estamos viendo, para aclarar dudas, ¿cierto? Para, bueno, en algunos casos conocernos, digamos, si que no nos conocemos, tener un poquito que sea de vida universitaria, ¿cierto? Em, lo que sí ustedes saben que en los campos no se puede fumar, no se puede tomar, no se puede comer. Entonces, como, claro, podemos tener una reunión, una tutoría afuera, sí, en el pasto, sí, obvio que sí, ¿cachai? Hay que cuidar el tema de los aforos, porque cada sala va a tener pegado el aforo, digamos, por el metraje, ¿cierto? Entonces, no sé, por la sala 1 alcanzan 6 personas. Entonces, claro, si van 15, eh, van a poder entrar algunos nomás, los demás esperan, y yo creo que las tutorías los vamos a hacer, sepa, hay que ver cuánto, depende de la cantidad de personas, cuánto va a durar cada tutoría por grupo, ¿cierto? Las tutorías para mí duran media hora, 30 minutes, que eso puede ir variando, ¿te fijas? Entonces, depende de lo que suceda también ese día. ¿Qué más? No sé si alguien tiene alguna duda sobre el retorno. ¿Cómo va a ser la cosa en el campus? ¿Ya lo tienen claro? ¿No lo tienen claro? El Julián dice, nope. Extrañar el Nuris. A mí me gustaba comer, me gustaban las papas con palta, po. Me encantaba comer papas con palta así de desayuno. Rayos. Y ahí tirarme en el pastito un rato. O a veces de igual me iba a tomar unas chelitas con amigues ahí al pastito atrás a veces. No cuando era, no, ahora como profe, bueno, también cuando era estudiante también, pero ahora era como más piola así. Entonces, bueno, yo que casi ni tomamos como cerveza sin alcohol, ¿no? Una larga historia. En fin, entonces, ¿qué les iba a decir? Bueno, comencemos entonces con unit number 1. Todavía tenemos hasta las 9:30, así que, como les decía antes, unit 1 is about work and education. Yo subí algunas cosillas, por ejemplo, con respecto a unit 1. Y con respecto al contenido gramatical, tenemos un repaso de los tenses en general del inglés, y tenemos también en el contenido léxico algunos videitos sobre work and business, higher education, y lo otro también es sistemas educacionales en general. What is the importance of education, right? So regarding in this case the lexical content, I'd like to discuss some things about education, right? And then I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna show you a video so that we can watch it now. And the idea should be in this case to, if you want to take some notes, or try to rescue the general idea, or the most important, in this case, concepts about education related with critical thinking, and how education, for example, can change the world, can change people, and also can make better societies. So that's the first thing we're going to discuss briefly. And if we got time, we're going to discuss or we're going to practice with the tenses. And if not, we can just discuss about education and critical thinking in general. Okay, so let's watch the video. Here we go.
We are living through an educational revolution. The pace of change is staggering. Schools, regions, entire countries are turning education on its head and redefining the experiences of students and of teachers. Let's consider for a moment the world in which they live. A world with so much knowledge it's hard to grasp. People are creating 2,000 new websites every hour. They are uploading 35 hours of video every minute and watching 2 billion YouTube videos every day. to a hyper-connected world with more people and fewer resources. A busy and competitive world full of uncertainties. A workforce that is more mobile and better qualified than ever before. And careers that span multiple jobs, positions and skill sets, some of which haven't been invented yet. Education leaders are making big changes, building 21st century skills, using enabling technologies, and personalising learning to engage students in diverse and creative ways.
We have our five senses. So from those five senses, from birth, you acquire an understanding of what makes sense to you, because those are things that you see happen and repeat in your lifetime according to your five senses. Only on the frontier of science, physics in particular, have we been able to grant us access to the universe beyond the capacity of our senses to do so. And what we have found is that the universe does not make sense outside of the realm of the access that our senses has to it. So no longer can you invoke common sense to judge whether or not that's accurate, whether or not it's true, because all that matters is that it's measured to be true. Period. Leave your senses at home. They're of no use to you. I approach life as a scientist and as an educator to try to get people thinking straight in the first place. All right? Trying to teach people not what to think, but how to think. How to interpret information that comes to you. How to think about what somebody says. How to judge what it is that someone else says. Judge the likelihood of it being correct or not. Why is it that every newspaper article that describes an eclipse says rare eclipse in China? Rare? Eclipses happen every 2.5 years. You don't say rare Olympics coming up. And Olympics are rarer than solar eclipses. So, do people understand that science is more a process than a list of answers? That's a separate issue from whether the public requires an answer to something. Whether the public comes to doubt the value of science because a result changes from one week to the next. We get textbooks and there's a problem at the end of the chapter and there's an answer to it and you got to get the answer and and you start to value the answer rather than the process that would lead to that answer or another. So uncertainty as well as ambiguity are not elements of a science curriculum, but they clearly need to be. Otherwise, you're incapable of thinking in meaningful ways about the frontier of science. And that's what I don't see enough of in this world. There's a level of gullibility that leaves people susceptible to being taken advantage of. I see science literacy as a kind of a vaccine against charlatans who would try to exploit your ignorance. The goal is to empower you to think for yourself. And that's not the impartation of knowledge. That's, I think, the sharing of outlook and perspective and wisdom so that you're empowered to make your next decision.
Okay, my dear students. We can divide the video into three different parts, right? First part describing, the importance in general of education, then what critical thinking is, and finally science literacy, all right? So regarding the first part in this case, we have this changes, that society has been, in this case, suffering. The world is changing really fast. So my question is our current educational system prepared for these sudden changes? Are we ready? Are we prepared for this fourth technology revolution? What do you think, guys? I'd like to know your opinions, to hear your opinions. Are we ready for this, or like our system is just like 50 years behind, maybe 100 years behind? I don't know. Any opinions?
Like talking about the Chilean educational system?
That's an example. Yeah, the Chilean educational system. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if we have a lot of issues with the online classes, it will be there will be more problems to implement all of these new technological things and stop to teach to the kids.
Interesting.
Maybe another countries from the first world could do that thing, but honestly, I don't think we are ready for that.
Thank you, Marcelo. Thanks a lot. You can type your opinion also in the chat room, right? I think that you as teachers, you're gonna be teaching a different generation, because the generational gaps are already here. They're big. For example, I'm 42 years old. My generation is really different from you. We're similar, of course, in many different things, but I feel that maybe we see the world in a different way at some point because of our experiences, right? Many of my colleagues or many of my friends, which are 42, 41, 44, 45, they haven't changed. They haven't, in this case, evolved to understand what's going on today. And that's the mind fossilization process. It happens to everybody. that our brains start to fossilize, and we don't want to change, right? So I'm going to start reading the chat. Julian, we're not prepared for what's coming, at least the educational system. Very well. You know, you in 3 more years, or yeah, 3 more years, you're going to be teaching in schools. And maybe the schools are going to be the same, talking about infrastructure, right? Same buildings, like old buildings and stuff like that, with just a little technology in them. But the students are going to be different. They're digital natives, just like you. Maybe there will be new, I don't know, new videos, new memes, new stuff going on the web. And you know what? Culture today is on the web. Like students don't go to the museums, or in general. I mean, some of them go, of course, and that's okay. But most culture is absorbed by YouTube and or videos on the web pages, social media, Instagram, TikTok, etc. So I'd like to, in this case, I'd like to know about your opinion about this. You know, what's going to happen in 3 more years, in 5 more years, in schools, you know? And my question is, are we really preparing citizens which are ready for the future? Any other opinion around there? Or maybe you can.
The future is like coming with a very big issue, that is the climate change. That at this point is like we can't change anything or change our conduct or something. The world is damned, and I think that we are not preparing for the new challenges of the future about climate change concerns and how to survive to all this. So I think that at least at 10 or 15 more years, we will not be like in a complex society. We will be like in a society of survival, like trying to survive instead of trying to produce. So that would be
Very
the point.
interesting. Very, very interesting. Thank you, Julian. Very interesting in this case situation, and I think you're right. Many people are very optimistic about the future in terms of, you know, that technology can change people and societies for better. But at the same time, we got this big, enormous, huge reality, which is climate change. And regarding critical thinking and science literacy, a lot of people do not believe in climate change, or they think it's just a hoax, just like other people who do not believe in science because of the, in this case, Neil deGrasse, the scientist, you know, very famous, the guy that was talking at the end of the video. He nailed it regarding critical thinking and science, because a lot of people just do not understand science, and therefore they don't believe in science, right? And because it's not easy. I mean, you need to study. We got to study to understand science in general, to understand climate change, to understand what's going on in the world, and the educational system. I mean, the purpose of the educational system is to make people understand the world, what's going on, right? So I'd like to in my case, I'd like to understand why there are people who believe that the earth is flat. I mean, I respect every opinion. Because I respect people. I love people. But I can't accept every opinion. Because for me, the earth is not flat. Climate change is real. And if we don't change, we're going to die. And we're going to try to survive, as Julian said, right? And technology and spaceships going to Mars and the moon is going to be for rich people, not for poor people. That's a reality now, and it's going to be in the future, you know? So what can we do to change this? Or as educators, what can we do to change this, to improve, to improve the situation, to change the world? I mean, in proportionally, you know, we cannot change the world collectively, but we can do things in our immediate society field, you know, because we can influence others for good, right? So how can we help others to develop critical thinking and science literacy? I'd like to hear your opinions about this. You know, what can we do to improve our society regarding critical thinking and science literacy? As educators, it's our job, actually. Any ideas? Any opinion is okay, right?
I believe that it is really problematic because I feel like people have their own choice to educate themselves or to, I don't know, learn things that are not in the, I don't know, in the original educational system. But that is a problem that we have right now because in the internet we have a lot of information, and it's like a kaboom of information. I don't know, it's like there is a lot of information that maybe it isn't correct. So people does not know what to believe. So they are trying to reach the things that they think that are correct. And that makes me think that people who says that the earth is flat are like saying that we should think outside the idea that the earth isn't flat, but they are like they are believing the information that they are only seeing in the internet or in videos. So it is problematic because they said that we need to think outside like the box that we have like right now. I don't know, like the information of scientists and something, but they are trapped in their own thinkings. So I feel like it is the same with all the information and knowledge that the Chilean educational system is giving to the students because they are not available to think for themselves. And I think that this is the moment that we have to change that, being teachers in 5 or 4 years. I don't know.
Thank you very much, Ivana. Thanks a lot. Do you guys think that we need to change the curriculum, for example? Do you think that we need to change the subjects or what we teach in schools today? Because content is very important. Content is important in schools. Content is important on social media, on mass media. Because the content is key. is the information that we are providing to the people. Quality content. Do you think that we need to change, in this case, the content in the education system? Or is it okay? Like, no, living like that is perfect. You know, we don't need to change new things. I mean, we don't need to teach new things. What do you think, guys?
Hi. How are
Hey,
you?
good.
I think that the information that the schools give today, maybe it's a little bit of general information, like things you have to know, such as in biology or maths, or maybe language and stuff. But there's a few stuff that have to change. Or maybe we have to add, such as new abilities for students, like, I don't know, how to survive in certain situations, maybe things that the students, there are things that the students are never going to be facing, like surviving in the jungle. They are probably never going to face that. But there are things that they have to face, even though they have to make a change in the society. They are still going to have to face these things, such as paying taxes, or how the economy works, how to change it, abilities to use it on your favor, and so on and so forth. So there are things that are not being taught in the schools that should be, that could help the students to survive and maybe to change the society. Because yeah, teachers always say in school, they always say, like, you have to change the way that the world is working. You are the change and stuff. But like, okay, so tell me, what ability can you teach me that will make me do that? You know? So yeah, that's my opinion.
Thanks a lot, Fernanda. Yeah, you got a great point. Yeah, a lot of people say, yeah, you youngsters, you have to change the world. Yeah, okay, I want to, but how? Teach me how. I mean, which survival skills, or which skills do I need to have, or what do I have to do to change the world? Okay, we can burn everything down. I mean, yeah, we can do it, and then try to build something new. But at the same time, society is, and a nation, or different nations are, in this case, hard to handle, right? I think one of the advantages that for example, the rich people or the elites have had over the rest of the people is education, right? They know, but they are taught to manage, for example, organizations, because they've been taught to be, or they've been told that they will be the leaders of a nation, right? And so they are raised to be leaders, right? It's not our case, right? But you know what, guys? Educators are leaders at the same time, even if we don't want to, because we got, in this case, knowledge as our resource, critical thinking, analysis of science, and culture. That's those are our tools and weapons, and they're powerful, and we need to believe that we can change the world step by step. But we need to learn how to do it. Absolutely, right? We don't have money, we don't have political power, right? We don't have weapons like guns and shotguns and tanks and aircrafts, but anyway, you know, we're powerful with the tools that I just mentioned. So I think that there's a lot of work to do, of course, and but I firmly believe that science, knowledge, discussion, you know, conversation, analysis, and teaching people how to think can change the world little by little. Let's look at the social outbreak in 2019, the revolution of consciousness, the cultural revolutions. I mean, those revolutions have proven to be really powerful. People marching, people protesting, people demanding for better conditions in general. And that's what we need to, in this case, promote and foster. I'm not saying about burning everything down. What I'm saying is that we need to promote the cultural revolution, right? Revolution of consciousness. I think that's the most important thing that we can do today as educators. Of course, teaching English is important, but the content that we teach is important too. The skills that we promote and foster in our students is important. You know, teaching our students how to think, not what to think, but how to think, how to analyze information, how to research, how to compare information, how to produce ideas, new ideas, how to become creative in terms of the information that we process, right? We can do it. I think that's a thing that we can do, and we can do it pretty well, right? So I think it's 9:30. Any final comments before we finish, guys? Any final regards? Nope. Okie dokie. So next Monday, we're gonna be in this case studying grammar, and also I'm gonna be uploading more content on UCampus. So thank you for attending this virtual lesson today, and have a nice weekend, and bye bye.
Bye, teacher.
See you, Christian.
Bye. Have a nice
Take
one.
See
care.
ya. Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.